All right, welcome back to Counterpoints, and we promise we are working on intro music, so you have to stop kind of humming something to yourself when you see that logo. We're going to talk most of this show about midterms, midterm fallout, leadership elections in Congress that are shaken up by the midterm fallout. But first, two pieces of news breaking last night and this morning. First, the new inflation report shows the numbers cooling, 7.7% annualized. Now, nobody's going to celebrate 7.7% inflation year over year, but compared to 8% plus, that's the trajectory that you want to go. How do you think? And there was also, and we're going to talk to Sirota for a weekend segment. Sirota flagged this Morgan Stanley report that said that the way that voters responded to inflation in this midterm suggests that there might actually be more policy room for fiscal policy. That actually, wait, maybe full employment is something that people like more than they dislike inflation. So they were basically warning their clients, look out, there could be some more fiscal headroom here for policymakers in Washington. So don't get your hopes up too much on a grand bargain that cuts Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, which Biden took off the table yesterday. So the fact that you're now seeing this cooling, could this signal the end of or the beginning of the end of the Fed's monetary policy tightening, you think?
I hope it's the beginning of the end, but I still do worry that it's more of the beginning, and that we don't know how bad this is going to continue to get because, again, the left makes this point a lot. There's really nothing Joe Biden can do about Vladimir Putin at this point. I mean,
the only thing he can do, right, is pump oil out of the strategic reserve for political purposes heading into a midterm. Well, people have voted now. So I think gas prices are going to head back up. So
well, the strategic reserve, I mean, it's at a historic low.
They're going to have to start filling it back up.
Right. Well, and speaking
of that, you guys voted. Joe Biden thanks you for your votes. Gas prices are going back up now.
Speaking of that, there's news out of Ukraine. This is the other sort of bit of breaking news we wanted to touch on before diving into what we know more about the midterms here. What happened?
Right. And Biden made an interesting comment that felt a little narcissistic, and then I thought about it more, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, is there something to this? So Putin announced that there was going to be a broad retreat from Kherson, which would avoid this titanic battle that people have been speculating is just around the corner, and that Russia was likely to eventually lose. He announced he's going to leave, that they're retreating from Kherson. It was initially met with some skepticism, but it does appear to be real. Like areas around there are being liberated regularly, and all indications are that this is accurate. Biden said at his press conference yesterday that intelligence that the United States had indicated that they were in fact going to retreat from Kherson. And he said, I find it interesting that Putin saved this until after the midterms. And at first I was like, that's absurd. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. He did actually announce this. Like, we knew it was going to happen, and he held the announcement till after the midterms. What does that say, if it's true, about how Putin sees the war in Ukraine playing into domestic politics and what his interests are in the outcome of our politics?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. And Biden, by the way, was in a hell of a mood yesterday.
He was feeling good. It was early in the day,
great.
too. Yeah.
It was like 4 p.m.
Yeah. That's pretty early. I mean, that's early for him.
It was dinner time. He was feeling great yesterday. He had
early bird special. Yeah,
interesting, right? Yeah, he said some interesting one-liners. Well, I think we have always known that, especially Putin and his government believes that we're very vulnerable and that our divisions make us vulnerable to sort of outside manipulation. So I don't think that's implausible, actually, at all.
Right. Right. He doesn't want to do anything that he thinks might make Democrats look good.
Yeah. Or makes Biden look good. And all this is happening in the context, by the way, of that Washington Post report, which confirmed that there are channels that are trying to urge Ukraine to the negotiating table. And that came out, last Friday?
Right. Which would be nice.
There's movement.
To end the war.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.